Let's look at the future trends. I want to touch on just a couple with you today. The first is that we are living in a world and engaging with people who are more digitally integrated than ever before. As a media professional, I'm sure this is not news to you that we are living in what we call the great screen age, whereby we spend more time on our screen-based devices than ever before. And we know that based on some of the research we've conducted recently, more than half of Australians check their device within the first 3 minutes of waking up. And when we hone in on the millennials as a generation, that 53% increases to 81%. And we know that this great screen age, this integration of devices and technology is changing what we fear. In Australia, we no longer fear snakes, spiders, and heights. Rather, we fear the low Wi-Fi symbol when we can't connect to the world around us. We fear the buffering circle when we have to wait for something to load. And we fear the low battery symbol, whereby all forms of connectivity cease to exist. So living in more digitally integrated times, engaging with more digitally integrated people. We're also changing generationally. We have 6 generations in our world today, and 5 of them you can see here, from the builders at our upper end and our baby boomers, to our Generation X's, our Gen Y's, and our Generation Z's. And just a note on Generation Z, we know that a key characteristic of them is that they're a more mobile generation. It's predicted a school leaver today will have at least 18 jobs across 6 careers in their lifetime. So phenomenal career mobility. The only thing it seems though Generation Z aren't moving more frequently is out of the family home. And that's why they have been labelled a generation of kippers, which stands for kids in parents' pockets eroding retirement savings. So a very mobile generation. And then our youngest generation, our Generation Alphas. Now, at McCrindle, we take a keen interest in all generations, but a particular interest in Gen Alpha, because Mark McCrindle is credited with naming them that generation. And there's lots of different labels given to them, particularly around their use of technology. They were born since the year 2010. That's the same year the first iPad was released. That's the same year Instagram launched. The word of the year was app. So a very digitally integrated generation. And we've recently written a book on them, and we wrote in that book, the age at which we're exposed to a new technology or transformative event determines how embedded it will be in our psyche and our lifestyle. And for this generation, they are digitally integrated more so than any other in the past. You can see here this little Gen Alpha just expecting this magazine to be a touchscreen because glass is the medium that they're engaging with. We even say for them the #1 search engine is no longer Google, it's actually YouTube. Because why would they read something when they can watch it? The third trend I want to look at around the future is that because of what we've experienced over the last couple of years, we've noticed in our research that Australians are now shifting to reprioritise family, community, and well-being. So 2020 was a massive year of change. Our research found that 70% of people said that 2020 pushed them to their limits, and they've never experienced this much change in their life before. 69% said they felt worried and anxious about the future, and 56% actually said they struggled to find anything good in 2020. So a real challenging year for many, but there were also some positives around the lessons that we learned from living with COVID, particularly in lockdowns and with the restrictions. Many of us got to spend more time with family members or households. We got to enjoy a slower pace of life. We prioritised financial savings. We spent more time on creative hobbies and pursuits around cooking and baking, more time with pets. 26% of us, more than a quarter of Australians, also spent more time praying and in spiritual pursuits, as well as working from home. And that leads me to the final trend I want to touch on, is that Australians are exploring faith and spirituality. We know from our research that we've conducted over the last 18 months that times of hardship can cause us to think about more deeply what really matters to us. And we found in our research that we asked the question during COVID, how have the following activities changed for you? 47% of Australians said they've thought more about the meaning of life, and they've thought about their own mortality. A third have thought more about God, 28% have engaged in prayer, had spiritual conversations, and 19% have also read the Bible, as well as 16% who've attended church.